Thank you for the invitation. First, I would like to commend the leadership of the Private Schools Association for starting a basketball league for 5th and 6th graders. This is really important given the benefits that our children can get from getting into sports. I will talk about 6 topics. Through this brief lecture, my goal is for you to understand the importance of your role as coaches, acknowledge and learn how to stay away from the trap of overtraining, then third, comprehend the intricacies of designing a training plan so that when you walk out of the store, you have a clear idea on what to do next. Good health, wellness, and psychosocial development are among the reasons why kids should participate in sports. So when a young kid drops out of sports, that should be a major concern. An estimated 70% of youth athletes quit on sports even before reaching high school. Coaching environment and injuries are among the reasons why kids discontinue on their sports. For coaches, knowing how to address these reasons should be as important as learning the X's and O's. Research suggests that having positive motivational climate and an enhanced coach-athlete relationship are keys to prevent sports attrition. As a coach, therefore, it is imperative that you maintain an atmosphere where every member of the team can thrive. Performance by young athletes is influenced by two major factors. One is growth and maturation, and two, sports training. When a young athlete is injured, it can be the end of a short sport career. Studies indicate that young athletes are hurt due to preventable injuries. In basketball, fractures and lacerations are the most common injuries sustained. As a coach, you should always keep in mind the growth and maturation issues in training the young and developing athletes. Growth and maturation are not the same. Growth refers to changes in body size, like height and weight, while maturation refers to the development towards sexual maturity. An example of this is the increased secretion of testosterone and growth hormone, which improves the athlete's capacity for training. Here are some pointers about growth and maturation. 1. Peak height velocity, or what we call growth spurt, is the period where maximum rate of growth occurs. The onset of growth spurt of PHB is the best determiner of when to increase the training focus on aerobic and strength development. Girls should begin strength training immediately after PHB, while boys should begin strength training 12 to 18 months after PHB. 2. Through the end of puberty, growth and maturation and training should always be taken together in evaluating the athlete's performance. 3. The neurological system is fully developed by 12 years of age. Other systems, particularly those that affect coordination abilities, only mature by the time they are 15 or 16 years of age. Also remember that the timing of maturation may deceive our evaluation of a superior athletic performance. For example, an early maturing child or 12-year-old child may perform better than a late maturing 12-year-old kid, not necessarily because of athletic ability, but because of the structural and hormonal changes such as height and muscle advantage. Advantages like this are only temporary. The Long-Term Athlete Development, or LTAD, can be used as a guide in training young athletes. LTAD is a framework for managing the proper developmental progression of an athlete's training and skill throughout childhood and into the adult life. As a model, the LTAD does not only seek to train and produce elite athletes, but also encourages lifelong sports participants. The physical and mental well-being of the athletes, be it elite or recreational, is a primary concern in this model. LTAD is based on the coaching principles of enjoyment, striving for improvement, appropriate training, and doing no harm. For young athletes, the balance between boredom and task difficulty is always a challenge. Push too hard and the young athletes may be anxious. Push too low and the result may be boredom. As a coach, It is important that your athletes enjoy what they are doing in training while also getting the training effect that you want them to get. Keeping the training sessions small and manageable in a way to sustain the suitable attention and effort. Variety is also a way to make them keep improving to their potentials. It is vital likewise that your athletes keep an emotional connection to what they are doing or training for. Appropriate training means that training should be responsive to the child's growth and maturation. For instance, coordination abilities of a child is not fully mature until age 15 or 16. Lastly, doing no harm means that the physical and mental well-being of the young athletes should always be the priority. One of the challenges for any coach is the phenomenon called overtraining. It is estimated that the incidence rate of overtraining among youth athletes is 30%, and up to 50% of all injuries reported in pediatric sports medicine are related to overuse or overtraining. Overtraining is due to multiple factors, although excessive training overload or the failure to maintain equilibrium between training and recovery is the usual reported culprit. Overtraining weakens the endocrine system, the nervous system, and the other organs of the body. To err with safety and caution, allow 24 hours for full recovery after each training session. Causes of overtraining include not only physiological, but psychological and sociological factors as well. Adult and young athletes alike shared similar overtraining symptoms, like increased perception effort during exercise, frequent upper respiratory tract infections, muscle soreness, sleep and mood disturbances, loss of appetite, shortness of temper, decreased interest in training and competition, decreased self-confidence, and inability to concentrate. There is no excuse to overtrain young athletes. Health issues abound when the young body of an athlete is put to chronic stress. The damage would have tremendous effect not only on the young athlete's future athletic performance but also on continued sport involvement. We don't want to end a young career with overtraining. To avoid overtraining, we should understand fatigue and periodization theory. Fatigue is a sign that the body is stressed. Fatigue can be mental or physical. In either case, a decline in athletes' performance is evident. Mental fatigue affects alertness and the ability to quickly retrieve information required to perform the skill. While physical fatigue is the point when the athlete cannot continue with the physical task. One prominent definition of fatigue in sport is general sensation of tiredness that is accompanied by decline in motor or muscle performance. Sleep quality, physical condition, body clock or circadian rhythm, training conditions like temperature and weather, and training session are all factors that contribute to fatigue. Among these factors, and when everything held constant, load and intensity are the major factors that you can control as a coach. Here are the theories that explain fatigue due to sport training: cardiovascular model, energy supply or energy depletion model, neuromuscular fatigue, fatigue due to muscle trauma, biomechanical model, thermoregulatory, psychological and motivational model, and central governor model. All of these are equally interesting. Despite of some controversy, only the central governor model is able to incorporate each of the other theories in some way. Training periodization is a framework to avoid too much stress that can eventually lead to health problems. The term periodization refers to the application of stress or specifically training stress, followed by phases of recovery. Simply put, training stress must be succeeded by adequate recovery. These are some important points about periodization. First, around 4 to 6 weeks should be allowed for specific training stress to be completely adapted by an athlete, meaning load and recovery plans should cover this time frame. Second, allow 24 hours for recovery. 24 hours is the suggested time recovery for novice athletes. Next, the 1:1 loading-unloading combination is typical for training younger age athletes. This combination alternates high training load and reduced load for 6 days and 1 day of complete rest. Lastly, an annual training plan is composed of 5 hierarchical components. These are macrocycles, periods, phases, mesocycles, and microcycles that we will discuss next. Here's an example of a training plan for one competition cycle. The macrocycle has 3 training periods: the preparatory, competitive, and transitional rest. The preparation and competition phases has 2 periods each: a general preparation and specific preparation periods for the preparation phase, and pre-competitive and main competitive periods for the competitive phase. In this example, the general preparation phase is focused on general body development and technique, while in the specific preparation phase is focused on speed and strength development. A macrocycle has 1 performance period. In your case, you have 2 peak periods, the city meet and the regionals. So your annual training plan should have 2 macrocycles. Each macrocycle includes 2 to 4 weeks of recovery time before the next general preparation period of the next macrocycle begins. In this example, we can only have 1 week for rest. It only means that in your case, you have to add at least 1 more week before starting on the next macrocycle. The mesocycle is around 4 weeks in duration, but this also depends on the length of each microcycle. In this template, 1 mesocycle is composed of 4 weeks or microcycles. A microcycle is composed of 7 days. Training sessions and training units are the basic building blocks of a microcycle. These are what you intend to do in a 7-day span. There are around 3 to 4 training units in a training session, including the warm-up, the training itself, and cool-down. A training session typically lasts for 1 to 2 hours. Hopefully, this brief lecture provides you an overview and idea as you start on your coaching career. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.